Hi, sir. Good morning and a very warm welcome to the Knowledge series, which is a part of Learning and Development Elysium 2021 Summit Awards organized by Dr. Ashish Sen Consulting and Coaching and Indian Institute of Public Administration, which will be conducted in the month of February 2021. Joining us today is Dr. Ravishankar Gundlapalli. Dr. Ravi Shankar Gundlapalli's vision and life purpose are to bring the transformative power of mentorship to 100 million people in the world. He is the founder and CEO of MentorCloud, a human-powered growth engine for organizations to rapidly grow capabilities and performance of people through guided mentorship connections at a scale. Dr. Ravi is a globally recognized thought leader on mentoring and learning, and he is the author of the book The Art of Mentoring. So we are very welcome, and it's a pleasure to have you amongst us today.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Um, so, sir, it's very intriguing, and we'd like to know that, from where did you draw inspiration? For example, like who was your mentor who had a tremendous impact on you, and why and how did this person impact your life?
Wonderful. I draw inspiration from multiple mentors. Some who have met and who have worked with closely, and some who have read about. As I come from India, someone I consider my mentor for my life is Adi Shankara himself, who I consider an entrepreneur and a great leader who has brought a lot of transformation in India, several thousands years ago. Dr. Abdul Kalam is another I consider as a mentor who I've had a chance to do some work with on how he inspired the young generation of India. And someone who I've had a chance to work with more closely is Dr. Deshpande, one of who's also from IIT Madras, and he has been a very successful mentor, a successful entrepreneur, who has built multiple companies, and also a wonderful human being. Not only is he able to build successful businesses, at least four or five in a sequence. He does so much for the upliftment of humanity, Akshay Patra and so many other initiatives to help people. So very early on, I would always imagine myself to be a great entrepreneur, a great leader, but then focus all my success to the upliftment of people. So those are the few names that come to my mind.
Uh, right, sir. That is, your experience with these people and how it has influenced you was actually something very enlightening to know about, because the people you take inspiration from, form a major part of your life and who you are today.
Absolutely, absolutely. The word inspire actually, the true meaning of it is actually to breathe together. And so we all have to look at those individuals who we can align with, and it doesn't have to be that you have to work with them for several years. Inside the organization, you have to look at from senior leaders, but who are those people who you admire and look up to and draw that energy from, is really how I define a mentor.
Sir, so the second question I would like to ask you is, how would you describe mentorship pre-pandemic and post-pandemic according to you? What were the changes in the learning outcomes, and what were the strategies that you used to deal with the situation?
Yeah, what the pandemic has sort of brought to the surface is the importance of human connections. So the mentorship style perhaps has not changed, for me personally, whether it is before pandemic or after pandemic. I mean, I hope we can very soon say after pandemic. And But I think when I talk to people now, I am definitely making it, uh, you know, at least remembering to ask them about their well-being, about their families, about how are they feeling, are they stressed? Do they have anxiety? Are they feeling lonely? So I would say the amount of time that I encourage leaders to spend, including myself with my mentees, is focus on the human side of the person first before we get into any specific topic for which we have this mentoring relationship. So I think pre-pandemic we were probably running too fast, and we were all becoming very transactional. So when I go into a mentoring relationship, I would perhaps say, okay, great, nice to meet you, thank you, and I look forward to helping you. Now let's look at it. So what would you like to discuss? So we probably get to the, what they say, the core of the conversation much sooner. But now we are all being reminded that what's more important is the human behind the entrepreneur, is the human behind the leader. So I find myself spending more time asking about themselves, about their families, and but the overall style is still the same. Mentorship is about genuinely caring for the other person and making sure that they flourish in their own garden. And so the intent of mentorship has not changed, but the amount of time we spend on the human side and looking at that part of the individual is probably become more prominent now, and I hope it stays like this, because ultimately mentorship is a human connection. It's a human to human connection, and I think we all have to remember that, and focus on the individuals before we get to the actual topic.
Right, sir. Um, you said it very well that, now, you know, because of the pandemic, that people are realizing it better, and you realized it, that it is very important to pay focus on the human behind the leader, right?
Mm.
What they are going through, their mental turmoils and trauma, because that will help them become a better mentor, or how it is hindering in the process. And that is something which is truly going on right now. Um, so what is the process that you'd say that you follow at MentorCloud to add maximum value to the mentorship experience that you aim at giving or providing?
Yeah. So, nobody so far has, denied the importance of mentorship. In fact, today is a very important historic day. Today is the 5,178 year of the Bhagavad Gita that has been given, by, Lord Krishna to Arjuna. And in my book, The Art of Mentoring, I actually talk about India has hosted one of actually the first mentoring conversation, because Arjuna has had a guru from whom he learned the skills of archery and so on. But Krishna was his mentor, and so we should be so proud coming from the Indian heritage that mentorship is actually started in India itself. So on this wonderful day, so today is the day Bhagavad Gita was delivered. So it's very interesting that we are having this interview on this day. So nobody that I've come across in the world has denied the importance of mentorship, but there are lots of constraints or obstacles from the right people having that conversation, right? So if you look at a large organization with 10, 20, 30,000 people, who are the people who are willing to share their knowledge with a sense of care? So first is identify who are those people, because not everybody would be interested and not everybody has the time. So who has the time and the willingness and the intent and the mindset to really share, so that the other person genuinely benefits? And who are the people who will take that wisdom seriously and take action? So who are those mentees? Again, in this wonderful historic example between Krishna and Arjuna, Krishna genuinely had a care for Arjuna, and Arjuna genuinely believed in the wisdom of Krishna. He didn't question. He had questions, but he didn't question the wisdom, right? So that is perhaps one of the most beautiful mentoring conversation. And so in companies, for this kind of conversations to happen, there are a lot of obstacles. First of all, finding the right people, and then being able to match them, and then providing them a framework so that they know how to make that conversation valuable to both of them. And so what we do at MentorCloud is remove those obstacles, remove those constraints. So the what we do on the platform is people can actually tell their stories, and share their profiles, and then we use an intelligent matching engine so that regardless of where the people are in the world, they can they can be matched with the right mentor. And then we provide them a framework, which is why I wrote the book, to really help them how to be a good mentor and how to be a good mentee. So we provide them the education and the guidance, and then we provide them the tools like live chat, video, and so on, so that people are having these conversations. Because regardless of where you are in the world, you don't have to be restricted to the available wisdom in your own hometown. So you mentioned you're staying in Assam. You could be getting mentored by somebody in Silicon Valley or somebody in London. So which is the reason why I named the company also MentorCloud. Again, because cloud is a very interesting metaphor. It is an entity with no boundaries. So it can form in Assam and it can rain in Delhi. That's the beauty of the cloud. And it also represents a collection of water, right? So I said, I want to create a collection of minds, and then this collection is available to whoever needs it anywhere in the world. So what we do is bring alive the collective wisdom of people in an organization by identifying them, by intelligently matching them, and then providing them education, and then providing them the tools so they have those conversations. Again, I go back to why I said Adi Shankara is one of my mentors that I have sort of adopted, because it is only because of that human to human transfer of wisdom that Indian heritage has survived. It's not because of YouTube or Google or anything else. So it starts all the way there. And that's what we are bringing back with technology, that human to human transfer of wisdom.
I think that's well said, sir, because nowadays everything is on technology, even in the pandemic. So it is better that your Mentor Cloud is doing such a thing where mentorship can be provided online to anybody in any part of the world. And also, you talked about Bhagavad Gita and the story behind it and how you can relate it to mentorship. So, in line of that, sir, so plenty of research has demonstrated that the power of stories helps in advancing learning and development. What do you think about this approach towards mentorship, and how can it help?
Yeah, that's an excellent question actually, because I've been spending a lot of time on that in particular. See, because if you go to somebody's LinkedIn profile, it only shows certain milestones that they've accomplished, but the actual effort that goes behind those milestones, the actual struggles, or the um, difficulties that they faced between two milestones is not at all sort of visible. So in any mentoring interaction, I encourage people to share their stories, because stories reveal the true personality, and how they overcome a certain for example, difficulties in their career or in their entrepreneurial journey. So, and it also, stories also sort of bring out the humanity, because ultimately mentorship is a human connection. So I'm not going to a class to learn about marketing or sales or how to do public speaking. I'm genuinely having a conversation with another human being. That means the more I know about the person, what struggles he or she has overcome, what kind of accomplishments, what's their heritage, what's their family background, what's been their childhood like, um, makes the conversation that much more real and that much more transformational. So I'm a huge believer in the stories. And so I encourage people to say, understand the background, understand the situations, um, and understand what struggles they went through, and what solution they came up with. So in my book, I talk about the 3S formula: situation, struggle, and solution. So all of us have been through some situation, but then we had a struggle, and then we came up with a solution. So I'm not interested just to see the solution. Somebody got a PhD, right? Very few people know all the challenges I had during my PhD. And every PhD person will tell you lots of, it's very difficult to go through the process, right? So situation, struggle, solution is a formula that I talk about. And it is the process of somebody going through those three steps is more educational than just the solution or the end goal.
Right, sir. That was very interesting and very practical too. So, like you talked about, how the actual struggles behind, from milestone one to milestone two, or even if the person is achieving the first milestone in their life, that struggle is not highlighted, and people don't
Mhm.
talk about that. Uh, when they talk about the milestone and how important it is that the backstory is what makes a person, right? So,
Absolutely.
right. So, sir, when this is like so much of a human interaction based mentorship program, right? That it is important to get the human essence before you get to the other aspects of it. So, sir, how would you say that you could use technology as an advantage, at this point to facilitate your mentorship facilities better?
Yeah, absolutely. I get this question asked a lot. Even when I started, it was very hard to, get any investor interested in my company, because everybody said, mentorship is such a personal thing. But which is why I wrote the book, because we all need to, demystify this thing called mentorship. So mentorship is a human conversation, right? We agreed on that. It's between two human beings. Second, those two human beings have to genuinely care for each other, right? When I work with my mentors, they genuinely want me to be successful. They want to give back. They know that their wisdom is to go on is eventually going to go underground anyway, right? So might as well share it. So they are the people who are willing to share. And then the mentees are the ones who are genuinely wanting to learn and grow. So for this human to human connection and relationship to thrive, it is the best to meet in person. Just even today, this interview would always be nice to sit in a coffee shop or in a conference room, and we can talk and we can have a cup of coffee, and it's okay. If you cannot do that, that doesn't mean we cannot do the interview. So what the pandemic has actually done is changed our culture, and that it is perfectly okay. So what is the next best thing to in person is online. But online opens up so many new avenues. Like today, I mentor entrepreneurs in Cuba. I mentor an entrepreneur in Abuja, Nigeria. I mentor an entrepreneur in um, Morocco. Now, if I restricted mentorship to only in person, I would have probably met people in San Jose and just in Silicon Valley. But look, the people in other parts of the world have access to what I know. And so I think technology is a great enabler. And the way I describe my mission is, Google has made access to information very easy. YouTube has made access to content easy, but there has never been an attempt to make access to human wisdom easy. That's what we are doing with MentorCloud, and that wisdom can be anywhere. You can talk to anybody and really build that trust and have a conversation, because every good conversation can lead to something exciting, and we don't even know. I mean, we don't know what we are going to speak today, right? So the beauty of a conversation is the dynamic nature of it, because a video cannot the video you watch is the same video I will watch. It's not going to be customized. But a human conversation is not like that. It can be personalized, and it's also actionable. When I talk to mentors, right? So technology is a great enabler. It can bring people together. It can bring people that you otherwise wouldn't have met in your life. And so we have seen our business grow by over 500% this year, because suddenly everybody is realizing we need technology, we need a methodology to connect our people regardless of where they are in the world.
Right, sir. Very well said, sir. That that accessibility to human wisdom has become more accessible because of technology. And sir, when you said that entrepreneurs and leaders have to be, have to take transformational approach rather than a transactional one, that was something that one must think about more to take into consideration. Um, so, sir, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us?
I mean, first of all, thank you for having me on your on in your conference. I'm really glad that in India we are having such an as a L&D conference and focusing on mentorship. Again, like I said, in India, introduced the idea of mentorship, even though most Westerners don't acknowledge. But I do make it a point in all my talks and even in my book that the great conversation that Krishna and Arjuna had is a mentoring conversation. It did it required the individual mentee to trust his mentor, and it required the mentor to genuinely care for the mentee. So as long as we can send this message, every young person in India, every young entrepreneur, every young career professional, every student should surround themselves with such people who genuinely care about their success. And so one question that I ask in my talks to all my audience, and which may be something for your viewers also, is having mentors means not that you have a problem and they're trying to solve it for you. Okay, having mentors means who are those people who are going to think about your success and your well-being when when let's say you are sleeping or you're watching a cricket match, right? That's the beauty, that somebody in some part of the world is thinking about your success when you yourself are not thinking about it, or you are the only one thinking about it. So having mentors means somebody who's thinking, who should Mahima talk to, which book should Anu read, right? What conference should, for example, Snowy should attend. And then you wake up in the morning and suddenly you have all these introductions. That's the beauty of being in other people's minds, being in other people's conversations. That's what true mentorship is. So I encourage all the young people to not just be trying things on their own, surround themselves with the right who's. In fact, I'm reading a book called It's Not the Who, Not How. So surrounding yourself with the right people accelerate your success in life. And so that's what I would like to share, is to all the young people watching, and to all the senior executives. Take time, be a mentor, because your wisdom is going to be with you. It's not like money. Money, once you give, it's gone. But wisdom, once you give, it only gets better. So be a mentor, and find a mentor.
Right. So this was a very, very insightful conversation that we had, and that it was a pleasure talking to you and getting in touch. And all the things that you shared, all the points that you had were very valid and very relevant in today's time. So thank you so much for being with us today. And
You're most welcome.
it was a
Thank you so
wonderful
much, sir.
experience.
I think through MentorCloud, what you're trying to do is helping students, entrepreneurs, and senior executives, everybody across the globe, and combining it with technology. I think that is something which is the future. Everybody is going to look forward to it, and the book you have wrote is also, I think, very insightful, and everybody should go and read it. So I think, so it was a wonderful experience talking to you.
Thank you so much. In fact,
Absolutely.
my book was released in Mumbai. Actually, the first copy I gave to the former, Chief Minister Fadnavis. So I released the book in Mumbai, and so I encourage people to read. And I have a website, ravigundlapalli.com, and there are a lot of articles also on LinkedIn that I encourage people to read. And I wish you all the very best, and wishing the conference, a lot of success, and of course, Happy New Year. Happy 2021.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
sir.
Happy
Thank
New
you.
Year,
Happy New
sir.
Year, sir.
All right, all the best.